Welcome to What the Heck Are You Drinking? Week 15 of the NFL edition. Week 15, we saw the teams that clinched their playoff berth starting to get into position whether they will be home or away, the ones that are in the hunt that will be in the wild card round, and the ones that have been eliminated. There was also some bizarre behavior that we noticed, especially if we look at the coach from the Cleveland Browns and how he's treating Shador Sanders, which we'll get to that because they are actually featured on one of the cocktails for this week. This week we're going to talk about vodka. Now, vodka is traditionally flavorless, odorless alcohol and water, right? High ingredients or quality ingredients with quality water will create a quality vodka. It ranges from Russia, Poland. Both of them have all the receipts to take claim. However, that's not the sake of the argument. Vodka itself is normally made from fermented grains, potatoes, corn, grapes, sugarcane, tends to be neutral in flavor, generally odorless, generally flavorless. The reason why we're using vodka for this week is because some of the teams ended up being flavorless, or they started off that way, or they ended that way. However, with certain ingredients, they came to be a really beautiful cocktail and they came to be very, very beautiful games. So, vodka itself is essentially the base spirit that you get in a lot of spirits, right? So, if you add juniper and distill it, you'll get gin. If you age and barrel it, essentially you're going to get bourbon. However, vodka, because it is so versatile, we're going to talk about that in week 15 because we did put back quite a few martinis and other cocktails as we were watching the games this past weekend. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it with our first game. The Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots was a very interesting game. The Patriots started off on fire. They were up by like 3 touchdowns, and the Bills still had 0 points. And Josh Allen said, not today. Not today. I'm going to show you why I want to be in the playoffs. And not only that, but to be a contender in the Super Bowl. Now, whether that happens or not, we'll only see. However, the whole team mobilized. They really took advantage. They worked really hard, very cohesive, and they were able to outplay the Patriots and end up winning the game 35-31. Now, both teams are going to be in the playoffs in the AFC. We know that. However, the way the Bills are playing, they have to make sure they are careful to not gain any injuries. So that being said, the drink that we drank was called the Salty Dog Cocktail. Vodka, grapefruit juice, kosher salt. Of course, the Pats, they should be salty that they lost because they really had everything in their corner to win. They just couldn't pull it off. If you don't play full 4 quarters of football, you're not going to win. That was evident. And the Bills, keep your injuries down. Maybe they need to soak in some Epsom salt. And therefore, maybe they should have this drink that have a little bit of salt in their body while they soak to make sure that they are in their full potential to perform well and to put on a show in the playoffs. So the Salty Dog Cocktail, it was a winner for us. Pats, we always love when you lose. The Bills, Josh Allen, we're actually having a lot of fun watching you play. And your team following your lead and everybody picking up each other's slack. So good job. I know next week will be a little bit of an easier game, but be careful. The Broncos and the Packers, it was a great classic game of football. The Broncos that are 12-2, the Packers that are 9-4-1, they both clinched their playoff berths. Loved it really well. He had a lot of firepower going on. McManus, he was kicking well throughout the whole game. There was a lot of wide open passes, some hard hits. It was one of those classic football games that made you think of a ballet. So with that being said, we decided to drink a classic martini. Normally it's made with gin. This time we did a vodka martini with vodka, dry vermouth, shaken, not stirred. So we shook it with ice, and you can always make it dirty with a little bit of olive juice. I had a classic martini. I did not have a dirty one. However, I did have it with a lemon twist. So it was a great game. We hope to see both teams stay healthy, still have fun. They have a couple important games coming up. However, you want to make sure you save your firepower to make sure that you can actually perform well in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. And thank you for a classic game of football. We don't see that too often anymore. However, it was really fun to watch, and we always appreciate it. A classic martini never goes out of style. Neither does a classic game of football. So we'll see what you guys do in week 16. The Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts, 11-3, 8-6. The Seahawks won, and they clinched their playoff berth. And the Colts are finally done. They're not going to be in playoff position. This will give Grandpa Rivers a chance to Go out nice and smooth, no injury. Go retire already. We would like for you to maybe be on the sideline next year, not on the field, maybe even in the commentator box. But you know what? You did great this season. Time to let it go. Most of your class is gone and moving on and doing other things, benefiting the league. Maybe it's your turn to do the same. So one thing that I loved about the Seahawks game is that the Seahawks won without a touchdown. This shows how imperative it is to have a kicker that is stable, that is reliable, that can perform under pressure, and that can do short yardage as well as long yardage and make sure that their team is in the best position. So way to go, Seahawks. Way to showcase that. The drink that we were drinking this weekend with this game was called the Honey Deuce. This is traditionally a U.S. Open cocktail. However, there is no cocktail that belongs just to one group, so we tried it out. One, because the Seahawks won by 2 points, right? Won by two. And a little bit of honey sweetens up the deal, right? The Seahawks won. A little bit of honey feels really good. And for the Colts, they may, soak and feel a little bit blue and be a little upset. A little honey in their drinks will go ahead and add a little bit of pep in their step so they don't come down with the blues too bad. So this drink has lemonade, vodka, raspberry liqueur, and honeydew. I am by no means a fan of honeydew. To me, it smells like feet. Do not like it. Don't like to drink. If you've ever been to like DZ, Discovery Zone, where they had the balls and it just smells like kids' feet. Oh, it's just gross. Anyway, that's what honeydew smells like to me. However, blended together, it did create a beautiful cocktail. We like to use Belvedere or Grey Goose. Lower distilled, however, quality grains are used and quality water. So you have a really lovely vodka. And honestly, the Seahawks, not that they were odorless or flavorless, but they were able to create something beautiful on the field, and it was really fun to watch. So good luck next week. We are excited to see you stay healthy and get ready for the playoffs. And Colts, again, good to see you. Rivers, just retire. The Panthers and the Saints, divisional game, tough to watch. Won by 3 points. The Saints, we know they're not going to be in the playoffs. They know that with a rookie quarterback, but he scored 2 scoring drives in under 5 minutes. And they're truly building something special. They're just looking forward to next season. They really don't have much to lose besides to keep working. The Panthers, however, are chasing the playoffs, and they really needed this win. They were up at halftime, and they just didn't follow through in the fourth quarter. If you do not play a full 4 quarters of football, you're not going to win. And the Panthers found that out. So something a little bit simple to pick them up, pick up the spirits. We drank a Dirty Shirley. This one, you cannot taste the alcohol at all. It's vodka, lime juice, grenadine, and a lemon lime soda. It's not overly sweet. However, it was definitely stronger than expected. And for the Panthers, drown your sorrows and come back ready for week 16. The Saints, congratulations with this refreshing drink. It makes you want to go ahead and party down in Nolans. So have a wonderful time building your team. We're looking forward to seeing you guys do something special next year. Panthers, get your head in the game. If you're trying to make it to the playoffs, you cannot fool around. Play the full game of football. Drink down your sorrows and be ready to play. And we'll see what you guys do in week 16. Monday Night Football. So we had the Pittsburgh Steelers and a fish out of water Miami Dolphins. First and foremost, congratulations to Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, and Joey Porter for their Hall of Fame for 2026. We are so excited and privileged. And it was so wonderful to see you guys back out on the field. It really did warm my heart. I missed that era of the Steelers. And it was just beautiful to see your faces. And I really feel like our team really showed up and showed out because of all the pride that we felt. And of course, we want to be in the playoffs, and we had to win. Miami, a fish out of water surrounded by the beautiful Three Rivers, did not quite make it. Tua didn't play his best, didn't play his worst. However, towards the end, you can tell that they were a little bit defeated, and they really did give up, unfortunately. Grandpa Rogers, retire already! Although you did play well. We both know, and I think the whole nation knows, that you need to go ahead and give it up after you get us a Super Bowl. So Rodgers moved around a little bit. He threw passes longer than 3 yards. Who knew that would help us get down the field and actually be able to score and keep the momentum? Without TJ Watt, our defense really did have to step up. And of course, we missed seeing TJ there. However, our team was still able to shake the earth. So with that being said, we decided to drink a mudslide with this game. It was a great game. It was a really great game. So a mudslide is heavy whipping cream, or heavy cream, excuse me, vodka, Bailey's, Kahlua, and chocolate shavings. So Miami seemed like they were caught in the mud. They couldn't get out of it. They were not able to pull themselves out of the rut. Most teams will learn on occasion that whenever you keep making mistakes, if you keep it in your head, you're going to fail because it's all you think about. Every new play is a different play. However, they were drowning in their defeat, and that was evident, especially in the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. With Grandpa Rogers and the Steelers, we really did shake the earth. They did so well, causing the mudslide and not allowing them to pick up any momentum. The mudslide was a perfect drink to have with it. Not only was it freezing cold on Monday night, but it's one of those cozy drinks. So we were cozy with the Steelers, keep it up, keep the injuries down so we can get into the playoffs and actually go past the first round. And Miami, I know that you're in the chase. It's close, but keep your heads up and don't drown whenever you're losing. It's part of the game, but you'll figure it out. So next week, here we go. Let's rock and roll. The Browns and the Bears. One of the coldest temperature games of the year played. The Bears are 10-4. The Browns are 3-11. We know the Browns aren't going to make it to the playoffs this year. They had a rocky year. The Bears, great job in playing some of the coldest temperature. You turned 3 interceptions that were thrown into 17 points. You really bounced back. You guys did play really well. However, the interesting thing about this game is the way that the Cleveland Browns coach is treating his quarterback. Now, we all know in order to win a game, yes, defense wins championships, but you would like your offense to be successful as well. He claimed that there was a miscommunication, that he gave him the wrong sleeve or the wrong codes on his sleeve, something of that nature. Which just seems weird because every single week that Shador's out there, there's always some sort of mishap that comes from the coach, whether it's not acknowledging him, whether it's not making sure that he's successful, because at the end of the day, it's about winning. It's about winning. Whether you like the player or not, it's about winning, and you have a capable quarterback. So something is strange to me when I see that, and I don't appreciate it, although it was still a good game, and Shador, keep your head up, right? So with this drink, we decided to do the espresso martini. Espresso martini specifically because it's extremely popular. The Bears have a huge following, right? Whether they win, they lose. Bears fans are Bears fans, and they are always jacked up with energy like they're drinking an espresso martini. And also in regards to the Browns, Shador, you truly are, and honestly, the team is truly an espresso martini. You are the type of drink that people love to hate and hate to love. And people will claim that they don't like it, but they will still drink it, or they'll drink it in secret, whether it's in a ready-to-drink can or whether they order it at the bar, or whether they make it at home themselves with vodka, coffee, simple syrup, and some powder on top. So keep your head up. The espresso martini was really helpful in watching the game. Shador, just keep going. We know that people don't like you for whatever reason they have. However, your coach needs to focus on winning and keep your head up, keep your energy up. Both teams act like you're on espresso, work through the pain, work through the tiredness, and keep going. And with that being said, the espresso martini was the winner. And I think the whole bar had espresso martinis that day, whether you're a big burly man or your little petite woman, espresso martini can be everybody's flavor, just like Shador Sanders and just like the Bears fans, always true to their team, work really hard. So we'll see how they do in week 16 coming up.